and welcome to the Spazzin Sports Show. I'm your host, Chaz Kamara. Welcome to episode 6 of the show. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Call of Duty League. We'll specifically be talking about recapping week 2 of qualifying for Major 2 for the Call of Duty League, and we'll be predicting week 3 for qualifying as well. In that, we'll also be talking about Call of Duty Challengers, basically giving the power rankings of each region. And then a little bit after that, we'll be talking about College COD and giving you a little bit of insight in regards to that as well. So first off, we're going to start off with the Call of Duty League, and specifically the qualifying for Major 2. So we're going to go into recap of week 2, that is. So first off, we're going to go over the first couple of games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the first game we're going to go over is London versus Paris. London beating them 3-2. It was a very strong victory for London, specifically for Afro and Gizmo, of course. Oh, Afro and Nasty, that is. Of course, Paris did show a lot of improvement, specifically Jimbo in that game. Showed a lot of improvement, so it was very cool to see that. But, you know, London ended up reverse sweeping Paris, which was really huge for their confidence. Especially going into a game against FaZe the next day. Then the second game we had Optic Texas and Seattle. Optic beating them 3-1. Optic proved to be way too much for Seattle. Quite frankly, should have been a 4-0. You know, considering that first map of Hardpoint that Seattle won was a bit of a fluke because Optic did kind of throw it. Shotzi and Illy played great. Scump and Dashy holding the back line obviously played great, so that's why they ended up winning 3-1. Boston, Minnesota, that was a smoke show, 3-0. Nero and Capsule made pretty much quick and easy work of Minnesota, easy 3-0 for them. Then we go into the Saturday matches. We go into Atlanta and London. You know, Atlanta beating them 3-1 pretty handily. Simp and Celium proved to be, you know, too much for London and the boys. 0 in the boys. Then we had the Toilet Bowl. That's what I like to call it, considering that they're the 2 worst teams in the league right now, that being New York and Paris. New York, with the addition of Paul X, ended up beating Paris 3-1. You know, Neptune showed a lot of improvement. Hydra played great as usual. Krim holding that back line, playing that leadership role, obviously played pretty well as well, which is why they ended up beating Paris 3-1. Texas and Florida was the next game. Texas smoke show against Florida. Not too much to say about that. Illy played great. Shotzi played great. Dashy played great. Scump played great. Florida just struggled, specifically Dave Patty, you know, on that team. Awakening had his way definitely in the S&D just a little bit, but then struggled in the other game modes. So, you know, Skies, again, struggled just a bit as well, but overall, you know, Texas just proved to be too much and ended up, you know, making quick work of Florida. Then we went into the last game on Saturday, Boston is Toronto. Boston ended up beating Toronto, which was a surprise to a lot of people. They ended up winning 3-2. Boston, Nero and Capsule again playing great. You know, Methods had himself a couple of mats as well, a couple of flashes of brilliance as well. So did TJ. You know, Insight and Kleenex played great. Vance definitely need to see a little bit more improvement out of him if they want to go ahead and win, which is why they ended up losing to Boston 3-2. And then we go into the Sunday matches. There's 3 of them. LAG beating Seattle pretty handily, you know, especially in those S&Ds that LAG actually struggles in. They ended up beating Seattle in that, so they ended up winning 3-1. You know, Hook and Asim played great. Gunless played pretty decent. Slasher, again, probably that he's definitely the 4th on that team. You know, I need to see a little bit more improvement out of him, but regardless, they ended up, you know, winning against a woeful Seattle team anyway. Then we go into the second game, Minnesota and LAT. LAT looking pretty woeful as well. LAT I consider, you know, one of the most overrated teams in the league, besides Paris. You know, considering that we have a lot of expectation for them and they can't even win against Rocker, who I consider to be out of the top 8. But, you know, Rocker's a strong S&D team. You know, they just need to work on their respawns. For LAT, you know, it's pretty much the same, or it's the same but different. It's opposite of what Minnesota needs to improve on. They need to improve on S&D. So, obviously Minnesota ended up winning 3-2. And then we go into Atlanta, basically from attach and standing alone pretty much. And then we go into the last game on Sunday, that being the rematch of last year's COD champs, Atlanta and Toronto. Toronto struggled again, just like how they did against Boston. It did go to a map 5 though. Atlanta proved to be too much for Toronto, winning 3-2. Selim had himself a game. Simp and Abizi played great. Arcides holding the back line also played great, which is why they ended up beating Toronto 3-2. And then for predictions, we're gonna go ahead and go into predictions for week 3. So the first game on Friday is Paris and Toronto. I do believe it's gonna go in favor of Toronto, 3-1. I do think Kleenex and Inside are looking for blood. I do believe that they're looking for revenge, specifically against the 2 bottom tier teams, that being Paris and New York, that they have to play this week. With their back against the wall, I don't see them losing to Paris. So I do believe that's why they're going to win against Paris 3-1. And then the second game we have LAT and LAG. LAT, looking pretty woeful. I do believe it's going to go in favor of them though. Quite simply because of the respawns. I do believe that Envoy and Kenny are a lot better than, Hook and Gunless. So that's why I'm saying 3-2 in favor of Thieves over LAG. Atlanta, Florida, I think it's going to be smoke show, especially if, Simp does well. It's going to be a smoke show though. I think it's going to be a quick 3-0, easy for Atlanta. And then Seattle and LAT, so we're going to go into the Saturday matches. Seattle, looking pretty woeful. I think LAT is going to beat them 3-1. Seattle, haven't seen a lot of improvement from, accuracy. Obviously being the 4th on that team doesn't really help as well. Pred and Civ, after the first couple of weeks, they've been kind of on the downhill, so I haven't really been seeing a lot of improvement from them as well, which is why I believe it's going to go in favor of Thieves 3-1. Boston, Florida, I think it's going to go 3-1 in favor of Boston. I think Nero and Capsule are too much for Dave Patty and Skies. I do believe Awakening is going to have himself a map or 2. We'll see, but I think it's basically like a 3v1 or 3v2. Then we have Texas and LAG. I think Texas is going to win. I think Shotzi and Ailey are too much again, which is why I think they're going to win 3-1 against LAG. New York and Minnesota. I think Minnesota's going to win. I think it's going to go to a map 5, to be honest. I think New York's going to have them in the respawns, but I think Minnesota's probably going to win that map 3 or map 4 to make it go to a map 5. And obviously we all know what Minnesota does in map 5, so I think it's going to go in favor of Minnesota 3-2. Don't be surprised if Paulex has himself a map as well as Hydra, but I think Standy, Major and Attach are going to be a little bit too much for New York. Then we go into the Sunday games. We have London and Boston. I think London's going to be looking for blood considering their performance last week. I think they're going to end up winning 3-2 against Boston. Nero and Capsule, again, they're great players, but I think the veterans, specifically being Afro and Zero, are going to end up pulling out the victory for Boston and having them get the win over Boston. Atlanta and Texas is the next game. That's probably the most important game this week. Well, it is the most important game this week because if it goes up to that, it'll pretty much be for the top seed for Major 2, the tournament that is. So I do believe it's going to go in favor of Atlanta. I think they're going to win 3-2 over Texas. I think Atlanta's looking for blood, quite similar to what London and Toronto are going to be doing. They're going to be looking for blood, basically. They're not trying to lose any games after their performances last week. So I think definitely they're going to have revenge on their minds, specifically Simp. If Simp plays great, then I do believe that there's no beating this team. The former MVP, it pretty much kind of everything relies on him for that team. So if he plays great, then I can't see them losing that game, which is 2. Then the last game, kind of a sleeper game, New York and Toronto. I think Toronto's going to have them 3-1, but I'm seeing a lot of improvement out of New York, considering them dropping Clayster for Paul X. Seeing that raised a lot of eyebrows. Made them sort of a contender per se. Because they might not be able to beat the top 4 teams, but they'll definitely be able to compete against like the mid-tier teams and stuff like that, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to a Map 5. But I believe Kleenex and Inside again are going to be looking for blood, considering they're playing one of the worst teams in the league. With their back against the wall, I think they're going to win 3-1. Yeah, that's pretty much it for recapping week 2 and week 3 of Major 2 qualifying. And then we're going to go right into it, right into Challengers now. So Challengers, for those that don't know what Challengers is, it's basically like the G League, what the G League is to the NBA. It's basically like Division 2 to the CDL's Division 1. So in that, there are 4 regions, that being Latin America, Asia Pacific, Europe, and North America. And those 4 regions have their own cups, their own tournaments. However, Europe and North America have elite tournaments, which are basically like sub-majors in a way, which are obviously really important to their community as well. But for today, I'm gonna just be going over a couple of teams, my power rankings for each region when it comes to Challengers. Yeah, so we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna go right into what I consider the 4th best region in Challengers right now, which is the Latin America region. So right now at number 1, I have Skullcracker. Number 2, I have Masters Ecuador. Number 3, I have Team Smog. Number 4, I have 4LF4 Team. Number 5, I have Benza. And number 6, I have Virtue Gaming. I'm just going to be going over Skullcracker and Masters of Ecuador right now. Skullcracker Gaming are playing at a very high level right now. They won 3 out of the 7 tournaments. Masters Ecuador won 2 of the 7 tournaments. I do believe it's like a 2-horse race. Skullcracker Gaming have great players. Masters Ecuador, those Ecuadorians have great players as well, which is why I have them at number 2 behind Skullcracker. I do believe this region is improving, when it comes to talent. So don't be surprised if there are a couple of players that, might light up, the challenger scene and might catch a couple of eyes. But yeah, that's pretty much my challenger rankings for that. And then we go into the Asia Pacific region. There are really only 3 teams anyway, so I'm gonna go over all 3. Number 1, I have Renegades. Number 2, I have Roar. Number 3, I have Demons. Renegades, obviously a great team, winning 3 out of the 7 tournaments when it comes to that region. Roar, which I believe is Nimble and Crimson's team. They pretty much got 2nd place, 5 times, and considering that, they're one of the better teams, especially in that region. And then we have Demons, who won it once as well, who get, constant top 3 placements as well. Right now, Renegades is playing at a very high level, which is why they kind of separate from the rest of the pack. I do believe it's the 3-horse race in this region, which is why I only have 3 teams. But for instance, this produced a lot, of talent, especially when it comes to like the likes of Luca, and Pred, obviously. Pred, playing, who used to play for Renegades as well, so that's why I consider this to be like 3rd best region. And then we go into EU Challengers, European Challengers. We have 8 teams. We have Rocker Academy at number 1. Number 2, we have Toronto Academy. Number 3, we have Sucre's Bakery. Number 4, we have Revenge Tour. Number 5, we have The Originals. Number 6, we have Vengeance. Number 7, we have Doge Nation. And number 8, we have Clutch Brain Esports. Right now, Rocker Academy obviously winning 5 out of the 8 tournaments is very huge for them. Toronto Academy EU obviously winning the past one, is very huge for them. Those two academy teams are pretty much, it's a 2-horse race in this as well. They're pretty much the 2 best teams in this region right now. Europe has obviously produced a lot of talent, especially when it comes to the likes of Gizmo, Nasty, and Afro, who all coincidentally play for London. But yeah, seeing a lot of improvement in this region as a whole, especially when it comes to challengers, which is why I believe this is the second best region in Call of Duty challengers. Last but not least, we have challenger rankings for North America. So we have Texas Nation at number 1. Number 2, we have Infamous Esports. Number 3, we have UIU. Number 4, we have Trash Bros. Number 5, we have Team War. Number 6, we have Whatever It Takes. Number 7, we have Toronto Academy NA. Number 8, we have Bear Claw Gaming. Right now, Texas Nation, Kismet, Havoc, General, and Brezzy and Co. Are dominating. They have 5 straight wins, 5 out of the 8 tournaments when it comes to the North American Challengers region. They're dominating right now. Not a lot of people are being able to contest with them. Infamous Esports is getting close. They have a lot of constant, top 3, top 4 as well. They're probably the closest team to winning against Texas Nation. But right now, Toronto Academy obviously emerging as a new team as well. Are definitely competing as well, but right now it's Texas Nation's region. North America as a region as a whole is by far the best region. It has been the best region ever since the league got introduced, whether it be the CWL or the CDL. North America has been the best region, so there, of course, there's going to be a lot of talent in this region as well. So don't be surprised to see a couple of teams like the Jimbos, like the Gravities, come out of challengers and give a lot of veteran pros, a run for their money. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the segment on the Call of Duty challengers. Right now we're gonna take a turns, from the pro into college, which is where I'm in right now. I'm in college. Right now, we have definitely a couple of teams when it comes to the rankings of the CCL of the college Call of Duty League. It's very mixed. So that's why I'm going to be just going over the top 10 teams right now. So number 1, we have Bay State Bulldogs. Number 2, we have Northwood Esports. Number 3, we have Grand Canyon Esports. Number 4, we have Ottawa Braves. That's the university in Canada. Number 5, we have SIUE Esports. Number 6, we have Westcliff Warriors. Number 7, we have Penn State. Number 8, we have Arizona State. Number 9, we have St. Edwards. And number 10, we have Concord Esports. I'm going to leave up the graphic here so you can look up 11 through 25, but I'm just going to be going over the top 10. The reason why I think college COD is so important is because it gives sort of a different branch of a community to help build the community when it comes to competitive Call of Duty, in a way that students, young people could understand. And I believe that it's really special to see, considering there are some pros that play in the CCL that go on to do great things for their school as well as their pro team as well. So I think that's really cool to see too. But overall, I do believe that the CCL and the College COD League is very important, because if we never had that, there wouldn't be that separate branch that kind of separates the student from the professional athlete, that being an esports athlete in the Call of Duty League. So I believe that having this separate branch for college students is really cool to see, considering that you could win a national championship for your university for Call of Duty is pretty cool too. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I have when it comes to college Call of Duty and the CCL and their power rankings and why I believe it's really important. Yeah, that is pretty much it for today's episode. I'm gonna be posting this on Tuesday, so it should be Tuesday, I hope. So yeah, don't forget to go ahead and follow all the links and look at the links down in the description below. If not, don't forget also to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And yeah, that is pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next episode. And as always, have a blessed day.